So I'm back and yapping on this channel again. This time it's going to be about stripping because I've been doing that for a year and a half now. So sort of like the main part of the industry that I've dabbled a fair bit in. I started in a gentleman's club in Amsterdam, which I won't get into too much because it was a mixed license, like full service on premises allowed, like extras on premises allowed, and strip club, which is not very helpful for like Australians, which is most of my following, because it's not really relevant here. But in Australia, I have worked the last year in clubs around New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, and Canberra. I feel like everyone likes to know numbers. I probably averaged, depending on the club, 400 to 600 on any day that wasn't like the big Friday, Saturday nights, and more like 800 to 1.2k on a Friday or Saturday night. I've also taken big breaks from the clubs, particularly during the slower seasons, so I don't know how accurate the measure that is for like everyone. Don't expect to make that necessarily. You could make a lot more, you could make a lot less. Okay, so this video has absolutely no rhyme or reason, so I'm gonna split it into like talking about the pros and then talking about the cons and then like evaluating it so we're going somewhere. So the pros, obviously the income is quite a jump from your normal like day casual jobs, which is what I was doing. With that, you do really need to make sure that you don't start overspending just because of the random income jump. And I'd say the particularly dangerous one is reinvesting in the industry, or like in the job, buying like really expensive boots and outfits and like telling yourself that it will help me make more money. Like, yes, to an extent you can manifest better when you feel good about yourself, but it's really easy to just go down that spending rabbit hole. So like make sure you have a savings plan like real early on, or like before you even start, sort of thing. The other pro is that it's quite safe, comparative to, I don't want to say it's quite safe because it really depends on your club and management, but I know it can be a lot less daunting than immediately starting as an independent and going to people's homes as like, let's say like an out-call escort or out-call party stripper. Particularly in a good environment, and I'd say most clubs I've had have had really like lovely girls. Like, it's not like catty and stuff. You've got people who actually do like just care and like watch out for you. That being said, like, don't just blindly trust everyone because you can get screwed over. Keep out of the drama, keep to yourself. However, yeah, I would say it's just like, I know some areas of the adult industry are very isolated, and being in an environment where like on any given day you've got like a bunch of like women around you who are doing the same thing can really, really help. And I'm glad that I started in that environment. In terms of other pros, it's like the amount of confidence boost and also like boundary setting that you gain is really valuable. I'm always really grateful that of all the areas in the industry I started within the strip club, because I've really had to hold my own ground against people. A lot of clubs as well, like, because you're just kind of looking after yourself and you're a contractor, you can sort of tell people off when they're doing the wrong thing, right? Like, to each club their own, because they might get mad about it. But I've generally been pretty good with working at places where if someone even tries to push my boundary and I like go off at them, management have tended to have my back as well about it, or at the very least the other girls really have. And having that background made it a lot easier for me to stand up for myself in like other areas of the industry later on that I went into, and also just in my general life. I don't think I really would have had that as good if I did not strip. What else? It can also be a milder way of getting into the industry. Every club is different. Every state's regulations are different as well. So I've worked in clubs that are like no touch at all during a lap dance, only above the waist, and then like I've also had like touch anywhere except like directly on genitals, sort of thing. So there's a big range. I would also say hello. It's nice working in an atmosphere with people who are like already like tipsy and like party vibesy. because they make for good clientele to hustle a lot of the time because they're already in the mood. What else? Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing is just that it's an incredible learning environment if you're going to start out in the industry, even though it is very hard. The cons, I would say the biggest con for me was the whack hours. Depending on the club you work at, you might be going to sleep. If you're lucky, like 3 a.m. Sydney was really good for this because of the lockout laws, meaning that I could often be in bed by 3, 4 a.m. Other clubs, it's like 6, 7, 8 a.m. by the time you get home. So it really does a lot for your mood. A lot of the reason why I stopped working in the clubs is because I could make all my money in 2 nights a week, but the rest of the week I was fatigued, I wasn't myself, I was super down. So you gotta like make sure that you're managing that as well. Other cons, management can be pretty terrible. Like some places are great and some places really aren't. Some places you absolutely have to fend for yourself and they would like protect a customer who is assaulting or attempting to assault girls over their own workers. So you do have to go really thick-skinned in that and like hold your damn ground. Other cons, I'm trying to think. I think a lot of the things that are pros and cons depend on who you are as a person, so I don't want to speak too strongly. The main things that I wish I knew more as a newbie is like, I wish I didn't focus so much on performing. I perform as a stripper for private parties now, and in that respect, being a good performer is great. But in the clubs, I feel like America is sort of like the mecca of stripping, and in America there's that whole like throwing money at the stage when she does a trick or she twerks sort of culture. Australia is not like that. I don't really get tipped on the stage no matter how good I am or like how much I throw tricks out, because honestly most of the people who tip me on the stage are just Americans visiting Australia who are used to that. It's very much about the hustle for lap dancers and VIP rooms, but I am a person who gets like very socially drained quickly talking to lots of people. I find the noise level of a lot of clubs really hard, and like I don't have a sales background. I'd say a sales background is way more useful than a performer background, because yeah, like although it's a dance job, although it's sex work, it's really just sales. Anyway, here's my little yap for today. It's getting on the longer side, so I'm going to leave it there. My cat also wants some attention. But if you'd like more info about stripping, I'll put something together. These are just unhinged yaps for the meantime while I figure out what I'm doing with this channel.